Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Just Crunch It. With us today, we have Saurabh Agrawal, who is the founder and CEO of DAiOM, which helps brands with data analytics, digital and growth marketing, and omni-channel strategy and execution. That's a lot. Saurabh was previously the senior vice president at Lenskart, developing the stellar team and leading from inception, has played the role of a foundational analytics champion for over 2 decades now at other established brands like Motherson Sumi, Tata Insights and Quants, American Express, and all the way back to Fidelity Investments in the very early 2000s. In the world of digital marketing, there's so much of shift happening. And when Saurav and I were chatting, it almost intrigued me about a lot of things. We spoke first a few months back, we've exchanged notes once in a while, and the reason I wanted to have him here on the show is simply his authenticity and this very raw way of like simplifying things. Today, we dive deeper into what is happening in the age of marketing, how is sort of thinking about the future, what's happening with data, AI, all the foundational LLMs, and so on. Welcome to the show, Saurav. How are you doing today?
Awesome, Vikram, and very honored to be part of the show. And I'm looking forward to chat with you in this area.
Awesome. Saurav, I will start with one very simple question. So, you have done a lot, like, as in 2 decades is a substantial career in analytics. You've worked and led teams that are sort of like pretty much the top tiers. And today you are doing something in digital marketing, right? Like something related to uh, the future of how marketing and AI is going to evolve. My question is why this? Like you could have chosen 500 different paths. Uh, and I ask that with a lot of sincerity because I personally keep struggling with where we are headed, which domain is still like largely untapped. And I'm seeing a lot of concentration in certain domains. What's your unique POV here?
Yeah. So it's a very interesting question, Vikram. Glad you asked it. So my career in data analytics started when it was not data analytics. I bumped into data analytics during my Fidelity days, and I was thrown into a project of data warehousing, which was all about migrating from mainframes into open systems and building data warehouses for investments. I couldn't understand much that time, but I then moved into American Express, where I was part of the customer marketing team, where we were designing campaigns and executing it. One of the big parts was to build data warehouses, put it to campaigns, and that time the biggest digital channel so far which was coming up was email marketing. We used to do normal direct mail and phone calls, and that's where my introduction to marketing came in and my passion came in. But slowly steadily I went into more of consumer analytics. When I moved to the Tata group, that's where my eyes opened up to every analytics, whether is it for salt, whether it's for motorcycles, for agriculture and all. And also I fell into love with the applications of analytics, because in those 2 to 3 years we met with almost 15 CEOs. We looked at all different types of analytics. Then I went into, as you mentioned, Motherson Sumi. It was an interesting company into manufacturing IoT. They are tier one manufacturing of car parts, including Audi, BMW, and all. And my only connection with those analytics was that I was a mechanical engineer and I knew analytics, and that's the only thing. Those 3.5, 4 years, I really enjoyed working on the cutting edge IoT. But and then Lenskart happened. Lenskart was both manufacturing and this thing both coming together, manufacturing and customer analytics and marketing coming together. But now, so as I was looking to move out of Lenskart and starting my own, one of the big things I felt is analytics is great wherever there is huge amount of data. Okay, and the biggest amount of data is generated in internet. Now we spend almost more than $1 trillion of money in digital marketing, and unfortunately, what part of marketing results into and good ROI is a big question which people keep on asking. The channels have evolved beyond email marketing. It has gone into WhatsApp, SMS, push notifications, and then a lot of digital marketing of Facebook, Google ads. And the problem of attribution is a big one, and not only from online to online attribution, but online to offline attribution. So the problem statement really is quite big. And then with the advent of AI coming in, AI, like the whole Gen AI wave, is supposed to be 40% impacting the marketing. So I felt rather than doing everything in analytics, rather for this next 5 to 10 years, focus on marketing analytics as a core domain and whatever is required around it. So yeah, so the in trading is, the problem statement is good, the amount of money spent is huge, the data generated is huge, and generally people in marketing who goes into marketing, I think so, they are the ones who don't like maths. Okay, so what I would say, I might bring in that quant aspect into it to get that both left side and the right side of the brains work together.
Very interesting point. So tell me one thing. There is every domain I look at, there's like 500 companies now trying to revamp what that domain is all about or what it has been all about. Are you seeing that in the domain of digital marketing as well?
Yeah, so definitely. See, in the world of digital marketing, there are a lot of players, but what they are doing is they are like solving for the marketing aspect. My aim is, I'm not doing digital marketing. I'm making sure that people are able to get the return on investment and able to measure the return on investment and optimize it further. I don't claim to be a great digital marketer. I'm a digital marketer who is aware of the channels and emerging, but I look it from a data lens to see what works and what doesn't work. Like whether you're doing an influencer marketing campaign with hundreds of influencers, which influencer got you the business impact and which influencer just got you the likes. So how do you look at it is a very interesting statement. Sometimes we get carried away by the number of followers and all, so putting a data lens is not an easy thing. The unfortunate thing is there's too much of data, and that's the fortunate thing for us. Many companies do analytics also, okay, but the companies who approach analytics, they are approaching in a manner that they say, you tell me the problem statement, I will solve. Because I have worked in companies on the front end side managing marketing teams and closely worked with them, I understand what does a marketer want and what does a founder want. So we generally start with a problem statement, and that's why we say that we, in our company's mission also, we say that we help companies drive profitable growth with use of AI and marketing. So our aim is customer first and outcome first, and then we use data to optimize marketing, and if it requires, we execute also. So
Sort of, I have a question here now. So this one statement that you said, which is uh, you help companies not just focus on marketing, it's about the ROI. I think that is the most important thing. Every executive who's probably going to be listening to this now or in future is gonna like suddenly see their eyes widen and their attention come to this. Like, can you help me understand how exactly you're doing it? Like, are we talking of an agent? Are we talking of a services plus a product angle? And essentially I'm asking, like, ROI is a very tough thing to quantify, right? Like, and analytics has always had some role in it, but when it comes to marketing, how are you doing all of this? You gave brilliant examples, Tata Salt, products that are not necessarily digital. There are even more complex scenarios that arise in that. And I have personally spoken to a lot of people, like about a month and a half back, someone who runs seafood industry logistics came to me and told me, hey, Vikram, this is the problem we are in. And everything we are doing would be like a game changer for them. But the problem is that they don't know the data at the root cause level, because at the fish farm there is nothing that's happening. The way the ships are carrying these things, there are these crates and crates of seafood being packaged and shipped into US and across the world. There's no measurement happening there, and these measurements could be like all kinds of data. It could be camera data, it could be sensor data, it could be weight and so on. So and then what I'm essentially coming to is, if this piece is broken, attribution itself becomes tough. Somewhere you have to like make approximations, and at least that is how the world has worked in the past. Like, what are your takes on this? What are you doing here?
So what I would say is, we are generating data at every point. Okay, any campaign which we do or any
Of course.
measurement we do, we generate data. Okay, the problem is we end up using hundreds of KPIs for it, and we don't define what is the outcome. And when somebody asks, okay, how did the campaign perform, we show only those KPIs which go up. Okay, we don't show the KPIs which go down. some you call another agency or consulting company, they will show you the KPIs which went down. And the problem is structuring the KPI framework into maybe an input and output. Like how do you define a simple output, like what is a measure of success? It might be sales, or it might be just say that I want impressions, okay, or I am able to reach to 1 million accounts. That is also a good amount of KPI. But I don't think so people spend good enough of time to put in the thought about KPIs and look at what are the input actions they did and what's the output we got. And sometimes it's okay to start simple, okay, you don't need to have the glorified attribution and the market mix model and all. And I'm not a big fan of market mix modeling, because in today's age, just running a reel which goes viral does not might give you a bigger ROI, whereas a market mix model might assume that amount of money spent in a channel drives sales. So that's the underlying assumption of it. So whenever I go about it, I spend more time understanding the business process, what data they are generating, is there opportunity to generate more data, can we measure the input actions, and can we measure a proxy output. The proxy output need not be anything like a revenue number. It might be a number of eyeballs also, but it needs to be measurable. Okay, so a simple measurement framework to put in of input and output, and then increasing the maturity of it again and again is key. And then adding other channels. So generally when a marketer thinks about a campaign, he might say, okay, this is a push notification campaign sent to 1 million people, that's it. But a campaign in a marketing terms might mean that, okay, this is a campaign to be run in IPL, which is like a free eyeglass, like buy one get one free. So they might break it down into 20 small campaigns, and then 20 small campaigns will be distributed across 5 channels. So that's how a marketer looks. But when a digital marketer or a analytics person will look at one campaign at this, so how do you bring all this together, roll up into a proper campaign output, and specify the impact? It's more about simplifying it rather than making it complex. Unfortunately, lot of tools claim to do it, and they throw more data, whether you use Mixpanel, Google Analytics, Google Ads, Meta. Everyone has an attribution model, but all are doing good, but it's not easy to put it together to build a story or narrative around it.
But is there like any fundamental change that you see, like when you look back, um, let's say in the way marketing has evolved in the next last 20 years, 15 years, or let's say last even a decade, and then when you try projecting what the future is going to be with all of these enhancements, because a lot of things are being questioned now, uh, is there
So
anything that you think is going to be true?
So let me give an example. Okay, let's say TV. Okay, earlier people used to spend a lot of money on TV during cricket. Okay, now they didn't know how many people saw it. There used to be a sample rating on 10,000 people. Today we know that 5 crore people are watching a match. Okay, and then you know that at this time there is this ad coming in, and then at this time the number of people are picking up, and you also know who's watching it and who's not watching it. You can personalize at that level. So what I'm saying, the amount of data which is getting generated in real time of the number of views for traditional channel and new channel are increasing. Even if it's a newspaper campaign, people put QR codes and they know that, okay, how many people are scanning the QR code. So there is a proxy attribution getting developed at each level. How do you tie it together into the brand narrative, and how do you put a measurement framework is a key, and it goes hand in hand. A lot of times people compare different things, but it's all apples to oranges. So to me, measurement is very much coming in 20 years, I think so. TV, newspaper, radio had zero measurement. They had like very sampled measurement. Now there is huge measurement. Okay, now the problem is simplification and KPIfication, and then making it in a proper, maybe an OKR structure or an input output method, and then going from
It's
down to up. Like,
it's very interesting. So again and again in your conversation, I'm hearing that you think the way attribution itself works today, there's a big scope or a big delta there, and most of the other people I see working with AI, they are thinking of measurement being already partly solved, which I know is not true because I have worked in analytics myself. And they are like working on automating stuff, building these AI agents and so on. In your whole process, like, is there, or have you played around with how these agents can actually come into the picture, or is that still not the focus area?
So AI agents, so in digital shopping, AI agents can play a role in the assisted sales, or in the customer service area. AI agents can solve it, and AI agents are very good in customer service area, where it's more of query handling. And if you talk to any company, about 70% of the calls or queries on chatbots they get, it's mostly informational, and informational is more of information arbitrage. So a very GPT driven model or a LLM driven model can really solve for it. So the knowledge issue can be solved. There is a lot of UI simplification which can happen. There is a shopper AI type tool which is available, which can easily, you can start by typing in that I am looking for a dress for an evening birthday party, and then you can say it's a birthday party of 10-year-old. So you can start with the context rather than the product, that I am looking for a blue shirt of size 42. It will automatically say, okay, you should, if the theme is Superman, then go for a blue. If the theme is Iron Man, then go for a reddish color. So those are agents which will help you do. So customer service is a very proven area for AI agents, and it is becoming better. Then I would say resolution, and then assisted shopping. So those are three areas it's coming in, and those agents will help us improve the online conversion as well. So today people cry about, especially D2C and e-commerce, they cry about conversion being anywhere from 0.25 to 2%. So this will help them scale up and also do retargeting.
But there are so many different foundational models, right? Like there's ChatGPT, there's Anthropic, there is like Gemini, there's tons of them. Like Meta has their own model. I know of like 15 others at this point of time. And if you're following like the latest research papers, there's no end to it. It looks like more and more people are just working on things which it's very tough to even comment on what's going to be good and what's going to be bad. And sometimes it's actually evolving. Like code generation capabilities have also changed. Like the model that used to be the best went to number two, and then again came to number one, then went to number three, and so on. Do like how do you see all of this? Like when you're
So
thinking
Vikram,
of deploying, let's say anything.
I'll answer this in a different manner. How good is your handwriting? Tell me. Do you have a beautiful handwriting?
Oh yeah, it's very subjective. Very
Okay.
subjective.
So I have a very terrible handwriting, and one of my college roommates also, he had a very terrible handwriting. What he used to do is, used to buy new pens every time. He used to say, "Acha, fountain pen will give a better handwriting, then this Parker pen will get a better handwriting." So the problem is that changing pens does not improve your handwriting. You have to improve yourself to improve this. You can get the right pen to do it. With a pencil also, or with a 5 rupees Reynolds pen also, your handwriting can be good. So to me, the models are like that. Okay, so today businesses have enough models and capabilities there. Okay, and to change a model from a Gemini to a Chat GPT or a OpenAI 3.4, 4.1, 4.2, 5, 6 will not be a difficult task. It's just a plug and play. To me, how do you embed AI in the customer journey is the bigger problem. How do you create a working use case which solves a problem? Maybe with a 70% accuracy is okay. With 70% accuracy, with as the model gets better and as you feed more data, it will get better. So the problem today is not in the model side. It's about how do you use that tool and craft a new experience. So that's
Got
where
it.
the
So
struggle. I have
ca-
not seen people saying
ca-
it was not so great. So,
yeah, no, of course. No, I hear the logic. Uh, but tell me one thing, like, so is there like a real life example that you've worked on so that we can explain it to our customers better, in terms of
so
how exactly is that shift coming in?
So I'll tell you one example which I saw recently. There is this company called FinalRound.ai.com. So what they do is they
Hmm.
help people crack the interviews. It's a very interesting one. You should check out them. So what they do is they have, say, suppose I am giving an interview to you. There will be a interview co-pilot kind of a thing which is open. And first thing, to set it up, I have to upload the job description. I have to upload my resume, and if I have some profile of yours or the company, I will upload it there. So and then it will be on microphone. So as you ask me a question, it will listen, and then it will teleprompt me the answers. Okay, and then I can read it, and then I can quickly try to answer it for you. and it's a simple use case. Okay, it's taking voice as an input, it is taking context, and then it is crafting and doing it. Today we all use it in a very raw manner. We keep chat gpt open, it'll automatically listen and do it, and it is becoming very popular. So people might think that it is a cheating, that you are doing not it's not ethically right to do it. There's a lot I posted on internet and on LinkedIn, and there was like 100 comments coming in that this is not right and all. And then the founder called me, and then we discussed, and he told me like 60% of the use cases for practicing interviews, which they discovered later, that people are going and using it to practice interviews, and that is helping them more because they get prepared. And mostly today the last round or some rounds are happening face to face. So to me, it is not using any cutting edge. So they are using maybe ChatGPT 3.5 for economical purpose, but the key thing for is that they are including the context. They are using stitching this narrative together, and they are solving a good problem statement. So
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of tools, but I've not seen a very like not such a good application of it.
Yeah, but I also see like a lot of founders now trying to create their own proprietary capabilities as well, right? Like, and that's a good thing. It's a welcome change, because if you are, after all, only depending on a foundational model, anyone could just like replace you, or like the question is, what is even the delta or the value that you're bringing, because all you did was like fine tune a little bit of stuff. But there are different approaches to it, right? Like someone was just talking to me yesterday about, hey, one email uh, is, let's say, 5 parts or 7 parts, where there is a subject line, there's a salutation, there's like a header, there's a middle, there's a footer, salutation again, and there is a signature. And let's say today, we don't know, like let's say the three models have, three foundational models, or any two models that you pick, they have their own capabilities of like which one is going to be able to generate the best subject line given a set of 100,000 emails, and then which one can do it at the lowest cost, and which one can like actually learn from the context that's there in the past. And then you have to stitch all of these together, right? Like, so if there are 8 body parts to that email, you have to figure out which model should you be using for the subject line, or should you even be using a model for the subject line, and so on. And what I'm essentially coming to is like attribution is one aspect of the whole picture. The second thing is, let's say you have done the attribution, you have done some measurement, and now you want to target these people better. Are you also seeing applications around how the content itself is being generated, who is being targeted? Is that up for a change, or is that still like the second piece of the puzzle that we should not be focusing on?
Yeah, so let me just address the first part of the question is about models versus application. So, it's the question of consumers versus producers. Okay, like there are people who are producing cloud, and there are people who are building application on the cloud. Okay, so the number of people who are building cloud are only three people. Okay, there's a Microsoft, there is Microsoft, AWS, and Google. Okay, Google is also very minuscule. So the people who will build the core capabilities will be very less. Okay, the people will be, and then there'll be people who will be tweaking the models. But there are people who are consuming the models. Okay, they are building their applications on top of it. There are these hundreds and millions of startups which are coming on building new applications of it. So people will build application, I think. So there's a lot of work to be done on applications, and as you build your application and you want to build the application cheaper, faster, better, okay, then you will go say, okay, let me just try to see if can I build my own model, like Kritrim did. Okay, Kritrim kind of said, okay, I'll launch my own Google Maps API equivalent to make it cheaper, faster, better. So after you hit that problem, you will do it. But to me, I see like 99% of work is there in applications of it. There will be people who will be working on the models, but models itself by these giants will keep evolving. Now coming to the marketing side, in marketing side there are three types of people who are working on AI side. Okay, one is hugely on the content side. Okay, content could be, and copywriting is, I think so, done enough. Copy.ai and all, they have done it well. Text based content, script writing, people have cracked it well, and there is decent maturity. Stitching has not been done well, but maturity in the tools is there of what you can do with them. Also the custom gpts which have been launched, they are many people who have built it there. The work is now being done in the image and audio and video. Okay, and more so that to make it all integrated. Like one of my friends is working on one interesting application that you write a prompt and then it'll generate a video finally and give it to you. Somebody is saying that okay, you, and if you say Canva, okay, Canva is like adding so many features to make it easy for people like me to make it easy, and they are opening up hundreds of millions of people who will be designers. So the whole process of designing, editing, copywriting is being accelerated. Yes, just by a prompt it's very far away to figure out that it can be done, but earlier if it used to take about 70 hours editing and producing, it will cut down to 10 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. So it will be much more efficient, and there is huge amount of work being done out in this area on the content and copywriting side. Now, once that is done, so this is the first or second area, and then the next area which is happening is in the advertisement platforms. Okay, so whether it's Google Ads, Meta Ads, or maybe all the affiliate platforms like Amazon and all, so they are also making it that okay, I put in this ad copy, I'll test these 5 creatives, I will test these 5 subject lines and see which has a better CTR or conversion. So the whole ad tech platform with content and multivariate testing is getting evolved very fast. So half of this thing, earlier people used to upload 10 creatives, put in 10 manual subject lines. So they are automating it themselves and they are saying, okay, I will create 10 versions of creatives and put it in. So that's the ad tech world it is doing. And then uh, unfortunately there's not much of work being done in the measurement side and putting it, because people are still figuring it out, or maybe they don't want to solve it so easily. The GPTs have not really impacted the analytics part, data analytics or predictive analytics part of the world so much. I think so. The best case you will see that people are able to generate a data model, or people able to generate a SQL by writing a prompt. So there is so if I have to summarize again, that content writing, digital production, and A/B testing and ad tech are the 3 areas I'm seeing a lot of work being done.
So focus on the content writing and the like the A/B testing, and for that matter, like the digital production bit. A question that I keep getting once in a while, and I think I discussed it as well a little bit earlier, which was, if there's so much of content being generated, is there, and there are still people who think that models would still take time to like completely replicate the context that a human has, and rightfully probably so. uh, do you see SEO at all getting impacted? Because what is a brand that could publish a million articles in a month or a million videos in a month looking at, if they are just using, let's say, Gen AI, and those videos are not bad, right? Like, and people keep coming up with all types of misconceptions, saying that Google is going to be able to identify that this is an AI generated content, and they're going to be deprioritizing it in the SEO aspect. I don't know if that's like even feasible at this stage. What's your take there? How are you looking at this?
So I'll tell you one interesting thing which happened with Medium. Okay, so Medium, many people after Gen AI and all this ChatGPT came in, they started flooding articles on Medium. Okay, and Medium also rewards publishers by giving them money to say people they are getting views, and Medium saw that there is a huge amount of outflow. And for certain countries, they banned that okay, we are stopping the whole publisher rewarding system, and that is kind of an impact that okay, too much of content got generated and they stopped monetization. Now, coming to SEO, see the way whole SEO today works, the historical SEO works is on the basis of keyword. Okay, that you search keywords, there is backlinking, there is a page ranking algorithm, and then you rank it. I would say there is a whole bottoms up measurement way of looking at search will happen, and today the quality of results is to be improved. Okay, when we also go to Google, the search generative response is much better than the thing, and then at the like we used to go to 5th page, 6th page, and see better articles coming in. So to me, the whole way, it's like the if Google keeps trying to improve the search algorithm to do that, it will not work. But we have to fundamentally rethink of what is the person searching. Is he searching for a product, or is he searching for an answer of a question? If he's searching for an answer to a question, then he will get a more generated response. But if he's searching for a product, like okay, I'm looking for this, that's where they will get more contextual. So So yeah, I see a lot of things happening, but people who are just publishing content which is not really valued and just more chat GPT generated. Chat GPT itself or generative AI itself can rank itself and tell that okay, how much, what's the quality of it. But to me the thing is, it's not just publishing more. How many eyeballs you are getting. Even if you have written a chat gpt article, if it gets 70 likes on LinkedIn, 500,000 impressions on LinkedIn, then the search engine will push it up. So your distribution of the content will define how well you rank. That's the fundamental thing which I would say will keep ruling.
So good point. But when you ask a question and you see a generated answer, uh, it's being generated from certain sources, right? Like, and those sources, let's say as a brand, I have published 5 good articles every week,
Hmm.
and they are,
Hmm.
for the sake of the conversation, AI generated. Now, in that future where when you are searching on Google and the generated answer that you are getting, which is maybe referencing from like a bunch of data points, is the best one, there's a very new definition to what's really important. Like, you don't now want to feature on page one or page two or page three. Now, what you want to do is probably see if that generated answer can hyperlink your page in the answer that has come in, right? Like, when you open that page, it can tell you what are the sources that it referred to. Uh, is there is that already being done today?
So
How?
I think so. Perplexity does it much better, and
Yeah.
I see the referencing it does very good. ChatGPT and Bard or Gemini doesn't do it in that good manner. So that's where I see that's the way it will go. That okay, you search for a question that okay, how to do attribution for influencer marketing. It will give you a generated response and say these are the top three resources I referred while answering it. One big thing which people might also think that okay, it's an endless loop, that okay, I generate content through AI and then AI ranks it through that AI generated content, so it can be an infinite loop we can be stuck up in. But to me, you know great conversation happens on video or in text or in podcast like this which we are having. Okay, so the ability to like if you put this video on YouTube, okay, if you see, YouTube also generates that information and then that might refer to your podcast even tomorrow. So it's
Yeah.
not only about AI generated content. The quality content today, as we also listen, okay, it's all podcasts or good quality videos which are not being sponsored by anyone. So I see that trend also picking up. People will stop
Yeah.
writing. Okay.
It would also be very interesting, like these keyword competitions that people get into, where you are searching for a competition brand and like someone else starts popping up because they have like bid for it more. How is that going to shape up uh, where the first place, or like let's say the generated answer is like much more effective, because Google has like a lot of money to be made by that. It has been making money, but anyway, these
So
these are
on that,
like
I'll tell
endless.
you one more thing. Okay, I'm not sure if you've heard about Google Merchant Center. Google Merchant Center
I
is
have.
the metadata which everyone uploads on their content. Now,
Yeah.
if you see, lot of searches today are coming on 30% our searches are coming via voice, and images have also like live photographs. Like if I like this pen, I'll take a picture of it and then upload it on, like I'll use either Amazon camera and then play put it, or in Google Lens. So your metadata is becoming much more richer, including your images, your text, the video, the content. So that metadata will define, and the reviews, rating, all those things which are authentic, it will define how will the algorithm push it. So yeah, so Google Merchant Center will become very powerful with that, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, of course. 100% agreed. Man, it's so uh like it's so many things to comprehend, but sometimes I just like feel so pumped up imagining all of this. Sort of, you raised a very interesting point when we were chatting and discussing about this show. And that's a topic that's again like very close to my heart, because I have been playing around with my personal competitors, as in like our company's competitors, where it looks like embedding is a very big aspect. It has been a very big aspect, and how that shapes up in future is still like up for questioning. So the point for everybody's context who's listening in was like, what is the future? There could be an embedded AI in your product, or the product itself could be AI powered 100%. And looking at the domain of like everything we're talking about, data marketing, What do you think about the two approaches in general? Like, which one is there a pro or a con in your view, uh, or should you just like
So I
rather
think
be
so.
delivering
So
value?
the next,
Yeah.
yeah. So like earlier products were created as digital first. That okay, now I am on computer. Okay, then the next set of products came. I am on internet. Okay, which means I am on a website. Okay, then the third said okay, I am on cloud. Okay, then they said I am having a search bar on top of it. Okay, the next set of products will come is okay, I am AI enabled. Okay, and then when each of these changes came in, there were people who kind of incrementally improved, and there were companies who were built on that next technology. So for example, say Zoho versus Oracle, Zoho versus Salesforce. Salesforce was a application driven. Zoho was a cloud first company. So Zoho was built in cloud. It was much more cheaper, faster, better for them. So the next version of Zoho, if they are able to adopt and make the product cheaper, faster, better, and easy to use, they will win it. Or somebody who will be AI first, who will come in and say, okay, I will rebuild it from ground zero. So I see many companies missing this whole thing, and they are wiped off in this wave which comes in. Okay, whether it was when the internet came in, when email came in, it happened. So AI powered email might come in, or and it can change the game. And same thing happened, like Alexa was there for so many years. Okay, now people forget that Alexa could be much better. Now I don't know what is Amazon still thinking. It cannot even answer. Alexa cannot even answer or play a right music. Okay, forget about answering my son's questions. So many people will lose the game, and then they have to rebuild or reinvent themselves. Some people will have lot of capital to like buy out these companies and do it. But the next game of products will be putting AI into everything.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree because there's like a lot of incumbents who had just been growing in their own slow way for almost a decade and a half. And now with Gen AI, I'm seeing like a lot of them publishing these fancy videos with AI capabilities, which are ultimately all like embedded AI capabilities. And you'd have never imagined that that brand is gonna like do something like that, because for the last 20 years they had like cracked a particular customer niche, and there was not much change in the shape of like how the product is evolving, and
Right.
it's showing up a lot more. But uh, I have
In
a
that, you can take an example, like sorry, so if you see Canva versus Adobe, okay, Adobe used to
yeah,
be a rich application. You install it, it'll make your PC slow, it'll have huge amount of things but very difficult to use. But Canva is a very mobile first and desktop first, like not even desktop, browser first thing, which has a lot of templates, easy to use, fully AI enabled, and it's able to integrate those small apps for which you have to pay $20. Now you can just pay $20 to Canva and then take care of 90% of your stuff. So maybe the next person who's bringing the next version of these things might even disrupt Canva. And I think so Adobe is also doing a good job of making sure they are not getting left out. uh, so but yeah,
yeah,
it'll
of
be a
course,
very
like
interesting mix to see.
100%, 100%. Like, so I even in the analytics world, like the core analytics tools, you see like the lookers and tableaus of the world who had probably been very stale for a long time, and stale in the sense like they're great products for the time they came up to. But there were like a lot of interesting things that happened, new products that came in, new capabilities. A lot of people were like using looker plus this new age tool, and now suddenly those capabilities that these new age tools are, that are at least AI generated or AI powered, they are again like being they've been popping up in these foundational tools. And I see a lot of people in my day-to-day conversation coming and saying, but I think Looker is going to be able to support that, or I see Tableau is going to be able to support that. Why should I consider like a new tool? Should I just like save my money and like probably
So I
spend
have
more
seen
on?
this,
Yeah,
these three generations of tools. I started with Cognos and
yeah,
Informaticas of the world. They died. Then the MicroStrategy, and then MicroStrategy and Cognos were at the same time. They came and then they died. Then Tableau and Sense, ClickView took up. Okay, then they are almost like, and then Power BI and Looker came up, and QuickSight. Now the next generation will is also coming up, which will not require you to think through the graph you are putting in. So these tools,
yeah.
so like they are like BI tools embedded, like enabled with AI. There will be AI tools with BI capabilities. So
Yeah, I love it. I love how you put it. But sort of, I have a question for you. So you're building DIOM. Uh, I am building Crunch. There's conversations that we're having, both of us are having, and I see a lot of people being fatigued with the number of tools. So whatever you said, like, hey, we help you attribute better, or let's say get a higher ROI. I'm sure there are 20 people who say the same thing. And unfortunately, the state of the world is that you are just one of the 20 voices, right? Like, so as you're going into these conversations, people are probably expecting something like, hey, give me a plug and play model. Can I try it directly? Everybody's patience has gone down. And as founders, or to any founder, aspirational founder who's listening in, uh, how are you navigating this fatigue aspect where people don't just want to try anything, or they're making assumptions for what your tool is? Like, how do you ensure that they're able to see value? What are you doing to penetrate the sector better?
Yeah. So Vikram, I'm honestly not building a tool. Okay, I'm more of a consulting and a services company. So I'm saying, okay, you already have so many tools. I'm the yoga teacher who will tell you that how you know how to do yoga, and you will pay me for it. So consulting and services are, I think so. I'm not yet discovered my product market fit or product thing which I want to build, but I think so that's fine. Okay, I don't want to build another Me Too things.
Yeah,
But what I like
100%.
to do is to distill the products and figure out what is the one thing which you have to use. It's again, I will be the one who will help you get your handwriting better with the pencil even, and put that to use, because people are crazy about tools but they don't use it well enough, I'm telling you. The way I'm trying to differentiate also is I don't work with hundreds of clients. Okay, I just try to work with a sector, go deep into it. Like it's almost a year when we started. There is like one sector of jewelry and D2C. We went deep into it. We worked with 4 5 clients. We enjoyed working them. Now we are going into the healthcare or pharma sector very deep. We are working with 1 or 2 clients. We go deep, understand. I'm talking to many doctors. So digital marketing for doctors or hospitals is also a big area, because they also work on lot of competition. They also want to attract the right patients. They want to say, if they say best cardiologist in Gurgaon, how to rank higher on it. They also have these whole SEO problems, and the challenge also they have is they cannot do too much of paid marketing on these areas. Okay, because it's healthcare. You cannot just go about saying that, okay, we do the best x-ray, look at it, there's an Instagram reel floating on it, ki I went to this x-ray so that doesn't happen. It's all about organic, building reputation on it. So I am trying to go more deep into sectors, solving the problem statements. uh, some areas really attract me, which are financial services, e-commerce, omni-channel, and now healthcare is what I'm going in.
Awesome. Is there like a typical company size, or would you rather say like a particular industry company sector is like more in terms of size is more ripe for disruption? Are like mid-sized companies adopting this more in your experience, or is it just true for everyone? Like enterprises are just as open as mid-sized companies?
So what I would say, enterprise companies have more money to spend on AI, but they are very wary about it. They are doing more of education sessions, and they are trying to understand what can happen. They want great PPTs to teach them and tell them. But small companies or mid-sized companies are using it to drive quick efficiencies. They will move from expensive tool to smaller tools. They will not do too much of math. They will start doing experiments, running it. They don't have too much of layers to cut down to say, okay, I need that approval, that approval. They'll say, okay, let's run an experiment, try it out. If it works, let's use it and gain from it. So companies which have less decision making layers are the ones who are able to move faster. uh, but experimentation is the key, you know on this. But I think so.
100%.
It's today the problem is most of the AI tools are over promise, under deliver, and that's a big problem. And plus the marketing, and plus the person who's talking about it in the company. And thanks to all the great
Yeah.
reels people create on TikTok and Instagram, it looks wonders. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Sort of on a closing note, actually, two questions, two small questions. And I ask this to every guest I have. The second one, at least, I ask to everyone. So my first question is like, is there any particular product project, anything happening in today's world that you are particularly excited about, that everyone can go in and check out? And the second thing is there any learning that you have as you reflect back on your career, as you reflect back on what you're doing now, as you see the future happening, that you'd like to share with everyone?
Yeah. So first learning is, marketing efficiency is very important. People spend 10% to 50% of their money, depends on the space stage of the company they are, into marketing. So uh, putting a marketing measurement framework is very key, which is very simple to measure and then continuously track on it. Maybe it's not perfect, it's very important. And secondly, get hold of first party data of your customers, whether it's email, phone numbers, and try to build, because that will be your greatest assets. Don't be over dependent on the third party systems of Google, Meta, Facebook, everyone, to drive customers. At the end, what they say is, the best market, so your loyalist customers will drive your biggest growth. So to know the loyalist customers also, you need to have their information and then drive them to repeat, and they will spread the good word. So to me, first party data marketing is more essential in the age where the marketing cost is rising a lot. So that answers, I think so, your first question. The second thing is, what is the advice I will give to people in this area? Is, see, I have been into analytics and AI and whatever you say for long years, and I don't count after it. What I would say is, this is an exciting space. I don't know what will happen 2 years later, 1 year later. Will there be more jobs, less jobs? I don't know. But I think so. It's very fast changing, which will keep you on the toes. So keep learning. The foundational of problem solving, first principle thinking will not change. The ability to code faster will be there. My 10-year-old kid can now use ChatGPT without knowing coding and create a tic tac toe in 20 minutes. So to me, coding will become easier. So, but defining the problem, articulating the solution will be key. Now, whether you articulate the solution to somebody or some AI system, it will depend on how we mature. So, problem solving, understanding businesses, that will never be replaceable. So, yeah. So keep
Love it,
learning that
love it.
part of it.
Very, very tough to point out exactly what will help people get to that, because I think what you're also coming to is having a first principles thinking, which we keep talking about here and there, and then people just like people, or for that matter, I have been myself guilty of like just not implementing that in everything you're thinking about. So but I like love it. Like I 100% agree. Articulation, or how you are able to work with these capabilities in future is probably gonna be the most important skill set. But great, sort of. This was a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing it. Episodes have to end somewhere, so we always like cap it at 45, 46 minutes. Otherwise, people run out of patience. But I think there is like maybe another episode due as future hits up, as DAiOM grows, um, in terms of like
Yep.
whatever the changes we have seen between now and then. Thank you so much for doing this. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks, Vikram. All the best for the podcast and your startup. And
Thank you.
looking forward to hearing more
Bye.
from you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day, Saurabh.